Typography is another very important part of the brand identity process. And the visual identity of a company oftentimes hinges off whether or not you get the typography just right. Can you imagine the famous logos of the world with a completely different typeface? It's very hard to imagine, but just go into your, image editor of choice and just type out famous names in some really wacky fonts. You'll find that it just doesn't resonate the same as it does when you actually see them in their true typeface that they were designed to be in. And so it is because of that fact that we need to make sure that the typography that we deliver to our clients at the end of the day explains exactly when, where, and why they should be using the typography that we've laid out for them. So in this movie, what we're going to be doing is discussing this typography guide, and this is basically a template that I've included here inside of your exercise files that you can sort of copy and use in your own work. I've done mine inside of Illustrator, but you could certainly do this inside of InDesign. I would actually encourage you probably to do this in InDesign versus Illustrator in the end, because of the fact that InDesign is best for packaging and getting assets out of the program. But since Illustrator does have some packaging features now, I chose to do it in Illustrator because that's where I was already working. So this particular typography document, as you can see, it goes over what I call the three basic pillars of typography when you're talking about a brand. You have the logo type, the brand mark type, you have a primary and a secondary typeface for brand communications. So the first typeface that we're looking at up at the top here is League Gothic, and you can see here I've spelled out exactly what the typeface is, League Gothic. I have also showcased A through Z, all the uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as the numbers. So if there are any questions as to what exactly does this look like, this should be a very good example to pull from. Also, directly underneath there, we have Proxima Nova, and all of it spelled out. We also have the variants and stylings that we allow with Proxima Nova, regular italics, bold italics. Directly underneath that, Helvetica Neue with all of theirs spelled out, and regular italic, bold, and bold italic. So these are the stylings that we allow. These are the typefaces that we allow, and we don't specify font size because obviously they can be used for different things, and so they would be displayed at different sizes. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see several instances of lorem ipsum text. This is all replaceable, and what you should do with this is you should give a breakdown of exactly when, where, and why to use a given typeface. So for instance, for the logo type over on the left-hand side, I would say something like this is the primary brand marking typeface for this brand. And I would list the company name, that way that reinforces what it is used for. I would give it specific use cases in the logo, where it's located in the logo. I would also give specific spacing guidelines, because if you remember correctly, the logo that we had before, it wasn't just League Gothic typed out normally. It actually had a lot of tracking in between those individual characters, and I would probably specify that type of information over here on the right. Once we get down to Proxima Nova, I would list this as the primary typeface for all brand communications. This typeface should be used in conjunction with things like regular italics, bold, and bold italics for any formal communications to, from, or about the brand. Also, at the bottom, Helvetica Neue, this is going to be the secondary typeface when Proxima Nova is not available. So basically we're saying, okay, if you work for us or if you're working with us and you're communicating to or about our brand, then we want you to use Proxima Nova. But if you don't have that typeface on your computer, that's okay. We'll allow you to go with Helvetica Neue. If you don't have Helvetica Neue, and we would put this at the very bottom somewhere, in the case that both of these are unacceptable, please contact, the marketing department or someone else so that they can specify something that's close enough. At the very top of this, we also give what I call an introductory statement to reinforce the importance of typography. So here it says typography also helps to center the company's brand identity. So in the company name, parentheses, obviously you put your company's name. And it should be used consistently across all collateral. That means across business cards, letterheads, everything. To help ensure that all of our visual communications are consistent, company name uses a select group of preferred typefaces. So these are the preferred typefaces we've listed. We give reasons out to the right of why we are using them, when to use them, and how to use them. And hopefully this provides not only the client that I'm working with, but also any clients that they work with in the future or anyone who wants to use their branding across anything. Let's say, for instance, this is for a social network. People use the icons from social network and they reference social networking things all the time. Giving them a unified guide of how, when, why, and where to use your brand mark, your type, and your colors only serves you in the end, because it's going to create a consistent appearance not only from the collateral that you create, but from the collateral that other people create as well.